Hi there, welcome back to another episode of Second Chance Garden video. So it's that time again to do another round of hot pepper plants update for April 2015. And before we get started, I just wanted to point out a couple of things, or maybe a few things, real quick. First, there is a huge construction going on the street, so you may hear some noise in the background that I may not be able to get rid of, so I apologize for that. Second, this video might be a bit choppy because I wanted to show you my pepper plants from different angle, and they're all in different sizes and all that, so I also apologize for that. And there's a lot going on. For some reason, it's pretty noisy Saturday morning. And yeah, I'm trying to focus and hopefully it'll come out okay. So now here we have Jamaican hot chocolate, hot pepper plants. Both of them are the same type, Jamaican hot chocolate. Now, if you recall from my previous video, I said I was going to give fabric pots a try because of my space issue. I wanted to grow strong, not so huge, but strong hot pepper plants, and I thought that using fabric pots might be a better way to go. Since I've never used it, that was a complete experiment. And now you're looking at Jamaican hot chocolate plants side by side now. So to the left, that's the one with fabric pot. As you can see, towards the top, you can see a little wobbly thing. You can tell that the container is a little bit soft. And to the right is just a regular nursery 6-inch plastic pot. Okay, so I think the result is pretty obvious. The left-hand side one is doing much better. I'm going to show you from like a high above angle a little while later so that you can see how big the left-hand side one is. From here though, obviously you can see that the fabric pot side is a lot bushier and that the left-hand side is not doing all that well. To top it off, I also had some test problem, and I think that we had thrips, not spider mites. They're like a tiny little long black insects that I've been on a mission to kill, and yeah, it's been quite rough. But to point out something important, these plants are in the same space, so the one in a fabric pot also had a bit of pest damage, yet the damage itself was pretty dismal compared to the one to the right. So in a way, that also proves that the one in the fabric pot is a lot stronger. It has enough, I don't know what you call it, immune system to fight off pests or any diseases. And so far my conclusion, well, we don't know how this is going to turn out for the rest of the season, but for me, fabric pots are working phenomenally. So when I started about a month ago or so, in my previous video, you can see that the one on the right was actually doing far better compared to the one in the left. The one in the left was a lot smaller. So in the month, this is the difference that it makes. And now I am a firm believer of fabric pots. Dealing with fabric pots is a little bit different for me because of the amount of air that actually goes through these pots. The soil tends to dry out a little bit faster, but that really hasn't been a major issue. I just have to make sure the soil is, somewhat moist, almost at all times. I mean, sometimes I just let it dry, but the plant doesn't even phase it. It doesn't seem to care at all as long as I water like once a week. Most of the time I would water twice a week or so, but say I forget to water, it's still perfectly fine. So this is Jamaican hot chocolate side by side. Now I'm going to move these pots and show you Peruvian white lining version side by side as well, and you'll see the difference once again. So hold on one sec. Okay, so now we're back with Peruvian white lining hot pepper plants side by side once again. So to the left, that's the one in a fabric pot, and to the right, it's in a regular nursery plastic pot. So as you can see, there's a drastic difference. So what happened to the right is that the same thing with the other, the Jamaican hot chocolate, where I was battling with this pest issue, and I had no choice but to cut some branches off, leaves off, to get rid of the pests. And while that was going though, the one to the left, it kept growing. It wasn't really doing anything for the first week when I put this in a fabric pot, but then gradually it started to take off so that the leaves are much bigger, it's a lot bushier, and even though they both were in the same space, the one in a fabric pot had less damage from the pests. So that once again tells me that it's healthy enough to fight off any diseases, fungal problems, as well as pest issues. So the difference is pretty drastic. And I think the smaller, there might be a different brand may offer half a gallon fabric pots, but I was able to find the 1 gallon one. So that's the smallest that I can go, and that's the one that I've been using. Now, one more thing. Previously, I think I talked about the PVC pipe that's sticking out of that fabric pot. It's pretty completely useless. And I meant to take it out, but I've been quite busy and was sort of lazy at the same time, and I haven't taken it out. That doesn't serve any purpose or any good purposes anyway for fabric pots. So please do not use any tubing system with fabric pot. It's just that it makes absolutely no sense. But anyway, so these are the side-by-side shoots, and I think the next one I wanted to show you sort of like an aerial view of these hot pepper plants and see how different they look from the top. Okay guys, so we're back to just show you how each pepper plants look like from the top. And I'm starting with Jamaican hot chocolate in fabric pot. So this is how it looks like from the top. It's pretty bushy, and the leaves are a lot bigger. I am about to bring in the other one so that you can see the difference here. So let's see. Hopefully they both fit somehow so that you can see the difference. Okay, so here we go. The one to the right is the one in the plastic pot, and I don't know what's the best way to do this, but you see the difference between the leaves. So the leaves to the right is kind of like all crinkly a little bit. The color isn't all that bad, but it almost looks like each leaf is like on steroids in a way. Like it just seems so fake looking and crinkly and a little curly. It's not looking that natural. On the other hand, the one in the fabric pot, I mean, leaves look a lot more relaxed, much larger, and yeah, the color is a little lighter, but I really don't see that being a problem at all. It just seems pretty comfortable in this pot. So once again, I just wanted to point out that the fabric pots have been working for me somehow, and crossing my fingers that that will be the case for the rest of the season. Well, we'll see. I will keep updating you on that one. And I also wanted to show you Peruvian white lining one as well. So just hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, so these are Peruvian white lining hot pepper plants from the top. And as you can see, the same deal as Jamaican hot chocolate. This one's a bit shorter, and I'm thinking just because Peruvian white lightning peppers, the pods themselves are quite small, maybe the plant itself isn't going to be all that huge, but we'll see. The one in the fabric pot is, you know, by far doing much better. It's bushier. Again, the leaves are a lot bigger compared to the one on the right. And look how much of a difference that makes. If you've watched my previous video from March, you can tell that this one completely surpassed the one to the right. Back then, this one over here was doing much better compared to this one. So I'm pretty amazed the kind of turnout it, you know, came out to be, sort of. So I am pretty happy with fabric pots, and there's some other seedlings going in this grow space, and I will probably do the same with one of each kind this summer. And if all of them work out, then I am sticking with fabric pots. Alright, so now we are going to move on to some other ones that are a lot smaller. So I'm going to just set this thing up a little bit differently once again, and I will be right back. So I'm back to this sort of normal angle that I have been showing my pepper plants for you guys, and we have a few more to go, so here we are. Now the first one is Bolivian rainbow ornamental hot pepper. It's looking a little sad, as you can see, because of the pest problems. I had to chop a lot out of this plant, so it's looking a little sad. But at this point, it's pest free almost. I mean, I'm checking underside of the leaves constantly. If I find anything suspicious, I'm cutting it off. So as a result, it's kind of sad looking. But now that the aeration between the branches is far better, and I'm hoping that it's going to grow back. I mean, they're flowering, and I'm just letting them flower. And yeah, oh well, it is what it is. So that's Bolivian rainbow. And here is my, oh, I just blanked out. Black pearl. I apologize. Okay, so it's the black pearl, you know, one of my favorite pepper plants to look at just for ornamental viewing purposes. And as you can see, the pods are all over the place now after flowering. I mean, you still see some flowers going, but you see pods as well. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you, and let me show you some of the pods. So these are completely round. They're not long, hence the name black pearl probably came from the shape of these pods. And yeah, there you go. I mean, this one right here, maybe you can see a little bit better. Yep, pods are looking beautiful. I have no plan of eating these, since this is ornamental plant. But again, even though it had some pest problems, the same situation, but this one is doing quite well. Since the seedling state, this plant, particular one's been pretty strong. It went through all sorts of trauma, and it still came through. So it is still my favorite plant. As you can see in the middle, yeah, at the middle is where pests love to sort of, you know, go crazy at, because of lack of airflow, and the leaves are also kind of being on top of each other. So I completely got rid of all those leaves, and that's the results of it. But the branch structures, you know, all these branches coming outward, all these things are done on purpose, and hopefully it'll make a nice comeback. But for now, I'm pretty happy with the way that it looks. All right. Moving on, here is the one that I haven't really showed you all too much. This is just the regular cayenne long stem, and again, this had a pest problem as well, so it's looking a little sad and not enough leaves, but as you can see, I got a few pods going, and this is, let's say, the third time putting out some pods since I had it. I have this plant about 10 months or so, and this is the time that put out the most pods. And I know that the people are gonna laugh because, you know, a lot of people are growing these to get like 35 pods, 50 pods per plant, and I get that, but you know, this is an achievement for me. So even though it's not looking all that impressive, I am still proud of it. So this is just a regular cayenne long stem. Moving on, here is orange habanero that I topped after I shot the previous video. It's doing all right. I feel at this stage maybe I can even transplant it to one of those fabric pots. It's kind of stalling a little bit. After I topped it, the leaves are coming out, but maybe it's growing out of its space. I'm not sure. I mean, I see a lot of people growing hot pepper plants in one of these cups for quite some time, and you know, the plants get quite tall like that. But well, we'll see. It's not doing that bad. So there. And here's another black pearl backup, and I topped this one as well, and somehow this one shoot is coming out like ridiculously crazy looking, but it's doing well. So that's that. Now the last time when I did the video, I talked about fish peppers, and these are it. I transplanted them into a bigger container, and it's doing all right. The only thing is that I still haven't seen this the unique foliage pattern coming out just yet. Maybe because these are a little too young still now, but we'll see. There's one leaf, if I can spot it, maybe I can zoom in a little bit. It's showing us a bit of a typical fish pepper foliage sign here. Okay, that was out of focus. There you go. So this one right here, at the end, it's not a disease or anything. This is the kind of foliage, this cream white portion of it, that is a typical of fish pepper plant foliage. And I think that more of that will come as they grow under the direct sunlight. That's what's sort of lacking these days. So I'm trying to give it as much as possible. Oh, here we go. Here's another one right here. This one's got a little pattern there. So that's again typical the foliage pattern for fish pepper. So I'm pretty excited about growing these things since it looks completely different, and the pods are edible. So that's that there. All right, now I am actually coming back with another collection of seedlings, and they're a little bit different. So I'm going to pause this video for a sec, and I'll be right back. So here we have a bunch of seedlings, which I call a cop-out collection. It's a cop-out because I purchased them. I did not grow them from seeds. Yeah, I know. Well, I've had some issues germinating some of the peppers that I wanted to grow, and frankly, I got tired of trying germinating. So I resorted to purchasing some of the seedlings. However, maybe in a month or so, I might get back into germinating some more hot peppers if I feel like it. It's just that somehow I was just sort of repeating this routine for the entire winter, time to time, and I got tired of it. So anyway, these are the ones that I wanted to grow carefully and hope that I can collect some seeds, then I can germinate them. And I thought that would be a pretty good alternatives. So here we go. The first one, those purple ones in the front, these two right here are infamous Shero Rocha that I just could not germinate to save my life. I've tried 3 times, different method, different ways, each time slightly, to see if that any of those made any difference, and they didn't. I just could not germinate them. Very disappointing. So this is my alternative method to still grow Shero, and hopefully, I mean, they're in pretty good state right now. These will be topped pretty soon, and I get to collect some seeds. That is my plan. So these are Shero Rocha, Brazilian type pepper. The next one up are Kumari chili peppers, and these are 2 of these right here. Once again, this is another Brazilian hot pepper type, and they put out, I believe, tiny yellow pretty hot pepper. And yeah, I just wanted to get something a little bit different, you know, something yellow. I think I got purple, white, dark brown peppers growing right now, and the regular red cayenne. So I just wanted to get something in yellow, and the Kumari will probably do it. So these are the 2 Brazilian type called the Kumari chili peppers. All right, moving on to the next one. This is, something that I think you guys are all familiar with, devil's tongue. This is another yellow one. I think the pods are a lot bigger than Kumari, and it is doing well. It needs more light though, I can see, but it's doing all right, devil's tongue. So here it is. Okay, and the last one, I think this can be considered as sweet pepper, but they do not taste sweet at all. This is shishito pepper. It's a Japanese type pepper, and I don't know how to describe this, but I think they have somewhat bitter taste, but they're still flavorsome. It's a very complex flavor these peppers have. So I at least wanted to get one and see how it goes, and I hope that I get to taste some of the pods. They're not huge, but they're quite long and a bit crinkly. If I have any photos, I can put that up. But I'm pretty excited about this one. I never thought that I would grow this, but when I was sort of browsing to buy other peppers, this was on the list, and then I sort of impulsively picked it. Hopefully it'll do well, because this is the only one that I have. All right, so once again, I apologize for the noise in the background, as well as somewhat choppy video editing, but I just wanted to show you these peppers the best I can. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and please look out for other updates.